Hello again and welcome to another Warhammer 40k Imperial Guard Tactics video. Today I will be starting a new mini-series which is going to be all about Militarum Tempestus, aka the Stormtroopers. Now, during my time on YouTube I have dabbled and I have mentioned and I have skimmed how to use the Stormtroopers, how to use the Tempestus Scions of the Guard. I've always sort of done for each edition that I've done the channel for 7th and 8th edition. I've covered basic principles of the Militarum Tempestus, but I've never really sat down and just done all the way through just a series of videos just covering almost everything you can cover about Militarum Tempestus. So this is going to try and be an absolutely comprehensive list. A comprehensive series of videos. As always, there may be a couple of things I miss out, but this is to give people who are maybe new to the Guard an idea of the difference between the Tempestus and the regular Guard, and also for maybe experienced Guard players who want to take their Tempestus Scion force to the next level. Many Guard players will have some Scions in their army, be it a squad or 2 squads, maybe even as many as 3 squads. But very few people have a pure Militarum Tempestus army. And when used on their own, they function very differently as when used in a support role to regular Guard. And they are a much more difficult army to use, but also a much more rewarding army, and can be almost unstoppable. So, that's a series video. It's aimed at new players and experienced players alike. And without further ado, let's get straight into it. So this first episode, we're just going to talk about some basic principles of the Stormtroopers. Now, I know some of you may have heard me talk about this kind of stuff before. This is just to get everyone on the same level playing field for when we go through the rest of the series. Okay. But let's just basically get straight into it. So the first thing that you have to know about the Militarum Tempestus is that they are a quintessential glass hammer army. Okay? Even when used in a support role with Guard, they are almost the ultimate glass hammer. They are what Dark Eldar used to be. Okay? They bring an unholy amount of firepower. The devastation that Militarum Tempestus can unleash, especially in 8th edition, can cripple your opponent in one turn. Can absolutely leave them reeling with very little ability to recover. However, if the enemy does recover, then you will take casualties quickly and you will possibly lose the game if you can't maintain the momentum. Okay? So they are a very highly skilled army. A couple of mistakes and you have lost the game. There is no other way about it. Okay? And just especially, this is more aimed at Guard players going transition to Scions. A lot of Guard players, they see the Carapace armor, they see the 4+ save, they see the ballistic skill 3+, and they go, these guys are like, hard as nails. And the reality is that you're not. You're still just but a man. And it means you are most armies, put it this way, most armies will not notice the difference between sweeping away a squad of Scions and sweeping away a squad of Guardsmen. To them, it takes about the same amount of firepower. Maybe a tiny bit more, but realistically, it doesn't take much more. Okay? So that's the first thing. You hit like a ton of bricks, but you don't have a huge amount of staying power. To that end, Stormtroopers are not a horde army. You will have a lot of them, especially if you're running pure Tempestus. You'll still have, maybe 60, 70, 80 Stormtroopers. But that is not a horde. You are in a strange place between a horde army and an elite army. You have the firepower and access to special weapons of an elite army, but more bodies than most elite armies. But you don't quite have access to the amount of redundancy, the amount of pure fodder that armies like Guard, Orcs, Nids can put out. You are in the middle. But so that puts you in a very difficult place. You don't have the inherent toughness of an elite army like Space Marines with toughness 4 and a 3+ save, but you don't have the inherent toughness either of a Horde army where you can soak up 40 casualties a turn. You don't have that. So they are very interesting army to play. They remind me very much so of Genestealer Cult in terms of similarity to in terms of maybe difficulty but rewards to how they play. Genestealer Cult are not a Horde army. In my 2,000 point Genestealer Cult army, I have 100 models. That would cost me 400 points if I was doing it as a guardsman, not as Genestealer Cult. You see? So they are specialists. They are it, but that makes them very, very interesting. It puts you in a very, very niche role. So if you're the kind of player that is looking for a niche, unique army that will look gorgeous on the tabletop, but requires some extreme skill to use properly as a pure Tempestus army, these guys are the ones for you. Okay? Now, the good thing, this is a double-edged sword, this next point. The good thing about, this is more from, the first 2 points are from sort of a tactics side of thing. This one, this one is more of a hobby side of thing. It's also merged into tactics as well. You have a very limited selection of units. All the infantry that options that you can build comes from a single box, the Militarum Tempestus Scions box. That's it. Okay? You have a single unique vehicle, the Torx Prime. If you have a single officer, you basically have command squads, Scion squads, Torx Primes, and Tempesta Primes, and then technically though it's not Militarum Tempestus, it's very traditional to have these in a Tempestus army, Valkyries. Okay? 5 units is what you have access to. Okay? It's not a huge amount. That means, fortunately, there are very, very few deceptively shit choices. Everything is good. Everything is very efficient. It can just be a little bit boring from an army list point of view and from a hobbying point of view, but then it basically comes down to the hobbyist to make it exciting. Yes, you can just be stuck with all your single monopose plasma guns, or you can go out there, buy some extra plasma gun parts, maybe add in some third-party parts, and really start getting your Scions to look like a unique force on the table. Okay? Speaking of limited things, I mentioned it before, Scions are extremely limited in the amount of orders they can bring to the table. The maximum orders that they can bring is 8. You can bring 3 Tempesta Primes. Each one of these costs 40 points. That is 10 points more than a company commander. The Tempesta Primes do not come with an invuln save, but they do come with the basic 4+. But they can only issue 1 order unless you drop their pistol, be it a bolt or a hot shot pistol, and then you can take a command rod, which allows you to issue 2 orders. That costs 5 points. So a company commander can issue 2 orders for 30 points, and that's in a regular guard army. A Tempesta Prime can issue 2 orders for 45 points. You can now, thanks to the rule of 3, you can only take 3 of these guys, which means that's a maximum of 6 orders. The way you go up to 8 is you can take the Tempesta Relic, the Auto Reliquary of Tiberius, which on a 2+ lets you issue an additional order. You can also use Inspired Tactics. You can use the Laurels of Command, to issue an additional, on a 4+, an additional order to the same unit, but it's on a 4+, and it's not as reliable, and you're not affecting multiple units, you're only affecting one unit. Orders with Tempestus, you want to be affecting as many units as possible. The one thing I want to finish on is Militarum Tempestus are extremely strong. I'm not going to lie, I'm kind of surprised you don't see more of these pure Tempestus armies at tournaments. I think they have the ability to be just filthy, filthy strong. Okay? I think they have the potential to just get tournament winning, game breakingly good. Okay? I am thinking of... I currently have an Ordo Malleus list, which is my Grey Knights with my Stormtroopers. I am thinking of selling the Grey Knight part of that and getting more Stormtroopers and going full pure Stormtrooper. I think they have the potential to be that powerful, tournament powerful. I just think they're a very fiddly army to use, and when you're a tournament player, you just want to have the easiest, smashiest list straight away. So, to recap, this is the beginning of a series of videos which is going to go through all the different things for Tempestus, starting with their weapon options. It's going to start off with the basic weapons options series that we've done in the past. We'll then go through the different units available and what weapons work best on those units, and then we'll see what else we can finish off with, probably some basic lists, some basic tactics. Just to, like I said, to reiterate, they are Glasshammer army. You will probably lose your first 10-20 games with them, but then when it clicks, you will be very, very difficult to stop. To sign off, last thing I would say, and I've said this before in other Tempestus Sound videos, the momentum is key with the Scions. If you can take the momentum, grasp it in both hands, and run with it, you'll be almost unstoppable. If you lose the momentum, you will lose the game in a turn, maybe even half a turn. If you make a couple of bad deep strikes, you will lose the game. But if you don't make any mistakes, you will be almost unstoppable. That's how good they are. So, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Some basic premises. We're going to go into some more in-depth tactics later, talking about their doctrine, talking about their ability to deep strike, which units should go where. We're going to cover all that. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you're excited for a new series. And of course, I'll see you guys next time.